and set us free. Riders on the prairie, the wild and free, bows and arrows, cold 45's decree. No more tyranny, no more lies, under open skies we rise. Fight, fight, fight till we reclaim the night. Cowboys and Indians in the blazing light. Fight, fight, fight till the dawn is near. We'll never live in fear. On the blood moon, we all unite. Horses thunder in the night. No longer slaves to the empire's might. Strength in numbers, strength in rise. On the blood moon, we unite. Horses thunder in the night.
What's going on, you guys? To the 86th episode of the Cowboys and Indians podcast. I am your host, the Native Patriot. Of course, with me today is my co-host, Steve Loves Ammo. How you doing today, Steve?
Bro, I am on another level today. I am so pumped for this episode because we're on 86. You know what that means, right? No, I'm just kidding. Because we're going to kill it.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I'm doing great, man.
There's been a lot of stuff in the news as of late. And I've been fighting, well, I know I've gone through phases back and forth. And
Oh, dude.
Ash, thank you. Yeah, you're right. I do have to say, though, that I must teach Steve on how to set up the stream. So that way we can have this stuff set up when I am running late. Because, you know, there are some times...
I'm 100% white. I don't need to do that. I use 100% of my white privilege.
Yeah, he really does. Because I still, like, I'm running late, and I still got to set up the stream and everything. So, and I couldn't figure out Rumble today, so we're not streaming on Rumble right now because it wouldn't create the it wouldn't create it. So I was just like, you know what, screw this. I don't care. We'll just go live without Rumble. Whatever, it happens.
So we're checking all the stereotypes this evening. Got it.
Yes. Steve is a boomer.
Dude,
you see how that gray in his beard? See how that gray in his beard?
Yeah, it's because I'm up with your shit. Oh, I'm a boomer? Oh, get out of here, Pin.
I don't know how to work this fancy computer stuff.
Oh, here we go.
Let's see. So we use StreamYard. I don't know how to use Restream or anything else. Actually, StreamYard is the only thing that I've ever used because other than that, like, I'm kind of like a boomer because as far as technology goes, it just frustrates the heck out of me because I'm not very good at it. So it is what it is.
Debbie's like, wait a minute, don't start boomer shit.
You know what I mean. Steve's just, he's old in spirit. He's an old soul, right?
I'm an older millennial. I'm like junior Gen X. Steve making me feel young. Yeah.
Can't wait to hear Maurice share Candace Owens' psycho babble tonight. I don't watch Candace Owens. The only thing I ever see of Candace Owens is like clips here and there from what other people share, but like I don't watch her show. I never have. Like, I don't think I legitimately ever have watched her show.
Oh, here we go. We got Cindy. We got your kind in here. TP lady here.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, she's like a native. She's not the H1B said at the end. So, did you catch that?
I don't think I do. I think I've probably reposted her like 2 or 3 times. Like if you look back through my account, I don't really post her too much. And I mean, the only thing that I've really reposted her about as of late is her questioning the whole Charlie Kirk thing. And there's some legitimacy to that because the entire Charlie Kirk scenario, it sure feels like we're being fed another Las Vegas shooting narrative.
Yeah. Okay. So, dude, like this one is one that I don't want to get myself trapped in because so you have Candace Owens that was had a good friendship with the Kirk family, and essentially she was like, Erica, if anything I'm saying is wrong, please tell me now, and I will shut the hell up. But Erica hasn't said anything. Dude, I know, and like I'm just been watching all of this stuff, and I'm just kind of like, what's the point in falling into one tribalistic side on it? Multiple things can be right or wrong at the same time, so that's why I don't get fixated on that type of stuff. I just shit post all day. Are we on cue? Yeah, we're on cue. Okay, that's my first cuss word. But yeah, so that'll be my only one.
Okay, well,
look at all these people. They're all crapping on you, Mo. Oh my god, dude! Like,
whoa,
this is
not all of them. I feel
bad.
It is.
I feel like
not
you
all
need
of them.
reparations.
No, I need scalps, man. I need to start taking people out. Figuratively, not literally. I must be careful.
Shit, right now
on the YouTubes and the Facebook. Yeah, you need to complain to Elon. Tell him that I mean, you're in Texas. You should be getting good internet all the time. You got the whole Starlink and all that crap. It should be great.
Yeah, dude. Hey,
I'm on like dial-up or like not dial-up, but DSL, right? All my internet still goes through the phone lines. Okay, there's no fast cable out here that brings fast internet to my place. No, I get like 20 megabits per second. So I have the entire house shut down, all the Wi-Fi. Okay, so like the TV doesn't have any Wi-Fi. My wife turns her Wi-Fi off on her phone. On my phone, the Wi-Fi's off. I have to shut everything down just so I can stream.
Okay, Maurice, I'm gonna haul ass and I'm gonna go get my LAN cable. I think that might be the issue. Just do like a 2.5 minute rain dance. Okay, just real quick. Seriously.
What's a phone line? Yeah, I still have a home phone. Believe it or not, it never rings because I've never given the number out. But I still have a home phone. So yeah, you know what? This is the part of living in the woods that I'm not worried, or that I'm willing to sacrifice, because I mean I'm not rich enough to have to pay Verizon or Comcast or whatever to put high-speed cable out to my house, because that would be I don't even know how much money that would be. But yeah, so I suffer through the old kind of internet that will take a minute to load, and it's not something. Say something interesting, Maurice. Hey, we have a lot of no. Damn it. See, now you're telling me to do stuff, and it's making me not want to. Okay, you're not getting on my nerves, but okay. Well, here's something interesting, you guys. Tom McDonald has 3 of the top 5 songs on iTunes right now, and so let's see. He's got number 1, number 2, and number 5. Let's see if I can back out of this a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm talking about our friend Tom McDonald.
Yeah. I saw his post earlier about that. That's kicks ass, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's legit.
So number 1, like 3 in the top 5, right, on the iTunes charts.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
dude.
We need to get him back
amazing,
on the podcast. Man. We need to do something fun.
I agree. Yeah. Maybe we could shit on Snow next. I don't know. We can do something like that.
I did save a couple things to talk about. You guys, I've been no complaints, but I have been a little busy with work lately because we've had.
Oh, okay. Dude, I told you should have made it episode 86. The audience decides the topic.
Hey, you guys, if you guys have a topic or something,
how fun that could have
just
been.
let us know. Well, you know what? Now that they're here, just go ahead and ask a question. And send us down, a rabbit hole, if you will. Okay. But I did want to talk about this crash down in California because Pajit, and let's talk about the nuclear family. I'm down for that. I am. I'm always down to talk about the nuclear family and the freaking depravity that has been destroying it for decades. And I'm okay. We're gonna hold off on that for just a second.
Go ahead. Let's go first topic. Let's go.
Well, I do want to. Okay, this is a little bit more serious of a topic, but Colin Rugg posted this video today, and it is horrifying. But a 21-year-old semi-truck driver arrested on suspicion of DUI, and he was on a bunch of drugs. Horrific crash on 10 freeway in Ontario, California. California Highway Patrol investigators say the man. 8 vehicles were involved in the crash, and 3 people. I think it's 4 people now lost their lives.
Passed
but
away.
If you were to guess in California who this guy was, because we'll just take a look at the video.
Now take a look.
Warning: this is a messed up video. Okay, it shows the dire consequences of an 18-wheeler who isn't paying attention. So I don't know that, trigger warning or something like that. But yeah, check it out.
This is exclusive dash cam video that is now the subject of several law enforcement investigations. Shows the moment a red semi-truck plowed into a number of vehicles on the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario.
Never even hit the brakes. Now, Steve, if I were to ask you, what nationality do you think this guy was?
Not white.
Do you think it was a straight white man who has been truck driving for 20 years?
No, it could be an Asian female because they drive.
Oh, God.
It could be probably a Jeet, or probably someone that has melanin in it. And a lot of people are saying illegal. I don't know what nationality, but I'm sure it's someone that isn't Canadian. So,
well, yeah, you're right about that.
I don't sugarcoat anything, man. I don't.
Where did who had
facts,
his
he
name?
said definitely brownish.
Yeah, definitely brownish.
You're
100% right.
Change your name to that one just for one day.
The thing is his name is so close to Pajit. I can't find the video right now. I thought I saved it earlier, but it's literally like Pa, and then it has a bunch of extra letters, and then the last part of his name is Jeet, and I just thought it was okay.
Punjabi.
She has it something like
well,
that.
Punjabi's area between Pakistan and India. Punjab, they call them Punjabis. So, anyways,
okay.
So,
maybe
long story
not.
short, he might have been, dude. Okay, so he might have been a truck driver, right? But he might have also been moonlighting for like AT&T customer service. Thank you for calling AD&D, and then he got in the wreck. Isn't that how this works?
So his name is Maybe I can't. Maybe his name isn't that, but it's pretty close because I was. So the 21-year-old semi-truck driver responsible for the 8-vehicle crash that left 3 deceased and 4 injured has been identified. It's Jashanpreet. So it was really close. Jashanpreet Singh. Doesn't have a mugshot, but
Singh?
Jashanpreet Singh. Yeah. Singh. So I'm assuming that that's the dot kind of Indian that has been brought over here. Work on that later.
I think my Indian accent is really good.
Wow.
It's kind of sort of.
Yes.
It's like hillbilly Indian, I guess. I don't know.
That's so much better. Okay, so I always say dot, not feather. I might say dot, not firewater. That's actually pretty good. So, yeah, 3 people have lost their lives so far.
Illegal.
And hopefully that's it. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. This is the problem. We're suffering the consequences of these leftists bringing in Pajit and his friends Singh, in order to speed roll them into getting their CDLs and driving all around the country. And I'll tell you what, working in the trucking industry, am sick and tired of these people actually getting these licenses because every other truck driver complains about them because they can't back trailers up and they're reckless.
Right. Yeah.
I'm tired of it.
Have you ever encountered an illegal that had their tires busted that you had to assist them roadside?
Dude, there are so many of these freaking Indians that I don't understand a word that they're saying. It's like, call the driver, and I see that it's,
so you've encountered them before.
Pajit Singh. Oh, yeah. All the time, dude. It's constant. It's ridiculous.
Mm.
And
how often
so
do you get
if I'm trying to find this location... What's that?
I was just asking a follow-up question. So is that like the highest proportion of truck drivers, or is it white men, or is it like, butterball looking white females with short haircuts and septum piercings?
It depends on the company, because all of the overwhelming majority of truck drivers that take the containers from the ports seem to be Indian, but drivers as far as like construction companies and mostly construction paving companies, construction companies, infrastructure companies, those have an overwhelming majority of white guys, basically. So there's a stark difference between the two, because a lot of these containers that get brought over from China, like all the ports are filled with a bunch of these Indian drivers. And so every time I go out there, I'm just working on, I get called out to go fix these tires. And then I'm given the driver's number, want him to clarify where he's at. And I can't understand a word he says. Or when he freaking hops out of his truck and comes down and tries to talk to me about the tires, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, man. I really don't. These guys barely speak English. It is frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the cause. What's been happening. I mean, it's all industries, not just trucking. We've been importing all these people through H-1B visas. Are these illegals? They're just trying to replace as many white people as possible, and we're seeing the ramifications of it right now. Like, I forgot which state it was. I don't know if it was West or East Coast, but the driver's license with last name unknown or first name unknown on their actual driver's license. Like, okay, and we're giving them CDLs? Come on, get out of here, dude.
Well, they actually have programs so that when they get over here, they're quickly shuffled through the CDL driver's license programs, and then they're sent out to go work. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I know that for a fact because there's been a bunch in Washington State where they're just all Indians that come over and are literally speed run through these programs instead of getting their citizenship, coming over here to for a better life. It's a bunch of Indians bringing in family and friends constantly and then granting them jobs by shoving them through these programs to get all the proper documentation in order to drive truck. It's crazy. And I mean, these accidents, an accident like this shouldn't happen. It's completely avoidable. But instead of actually having standards and putting these people through the proper, like, they should be coming over, getting assimilated, getting used to our roads before they just hop into 18-wheeler that's carrying 60, 70, 80, 100,000 pounds and going into traffic, because, I mean, these are the consequences of it. Steve, I think we lost you. You look a little frozen. If we had nuclear families intact, people would grow up and do work and drive trucks. Yes, how do I put this? I think if we had nuclear families intact, everything in this country would run a lot smoother. And we would be able to stand up against the government faster. Steve lost connection, by the way. He'll be back in a minute. But we would be able to stand up against the tyranny that we've been facing and the bombardment and the influx of illegals or H-1B visas. I mean, all of that. We'd be able to stand up against it way better. But our culture is so fractured and so broken. We don't honor marriage anymore. We don't honor actually having kids. Like the propaganda from the 90s. Even, I remember watching Captain Planet. You guys remember that show? Captain Planet. It was one of the most popular shows I grew up with as a kid. And there was a bunch of propaganda in there saying that, you know, the world is overpopulated, and if you decide to have kids, only have one or two. You know, they wanted to keep the Americans having as little kids as possible. And now, I mean, the replacement rate right now is at 1.5 or 1.6, I believe. And once it hits 1.3 per couple, it is statistically impossible to come back from that. So we will lose our culture if we drop virtually any more than what we're at right now. I mean, conservatives are the ones having kids. We're the ones avoiding the abortions and the sterilization of children because the left has their entire ideology is revolved around aborting your children and sterilizing them through gender affirming care. That's what their entire ideology is. So in one generation, or I guess the next generation, conservatives should have more numbers. But the problem is that by the time that I get to retirement age, we're going to have a lot more old people than young people, unless they just continue flooding the country with people who don't share our culture or share the reverence for the Constitution, which I don't even know if our culture has reverence for the Constitution anymore. We've gotten to the point where we just crossed $38 trillion in debt. I mean, that right there should just tell us that we're failing. When I graduated high school, we were like $8, maybe $9 trillion in debt, and now we're 3 times that. Or 4 times that, basically. If we don't drastically change something, we're toast. And I had a lot more faith in Trump than what he's been doing right now. Because I was sold that there was going to be a revolution of sorts. That we were going to gut the government. And it just hasn't been happening. It feels a lot more like the status quo. It's really, 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 really unfortunate. How do you feel about my strong dependency on marijuana? Almost any vice can be detrimental. And if you're incredibly dependent on something like that, then there's no doubt that it's likely hindering you. I don't really have much against marijuana except for the fact that there was a quote on South Park a while back when they were talking about weed, and I actually thought it was probably the best way to put it is weed makes you okay with being bored. You know, they say boredom breeds creativity, and there's a lot of your life, especially in today's world, where you are not forced to push harder. So if you are dependent on something like weed, there's a lot of time in the day that you're able to kill, and you'll be perfectly okay with it. So Steve, Ash was asking about marijuana, about the weed. He's already frozen. Andy's back. Andy's gone. Thank you for joining. Oh, he's back.
Oh,
hey,
I think I
can
need a new laptop, dude. Like, so I can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, cool. So like pre-show, like I don't use this laptop very often, right? And I went to it was like Windows needs to update or whatever, and I put the snooze on it, and I thought that meant like it would snooze it until the next time you fire up your laptop again. Well, it just automatically did the Windows update midstream, and I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
Oh, that's why you were all blurry, because you're clear now. I can see you. Like everything's all good now.
Dude, like maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm talking about Starlink too much.
Boomer problems, sure. You know.
Boomer. I'm officially a boomer, ladies and gentlemen. Yeehaw. Now I got to go drink my Metamucil after this. And I'll skip bingo.
Yeah. What do you think about weed, Steve? What's your grand opinion on weed?
My opinion on that is everybody has a choice to do whatever they want. I'm pretty libertarian, I guess, because I don't want to say liberal. I personally, I think it's okay. Look, I'm a true believer in Darwinism. All right, so I think that should be legalized. Crack, cocaine, meth, and just let things work themselves out, because you don't want those people on the system. You don't want the government having vending machine crack pipes and crack. Remember during the Biden administration, like just let them work themselves off. I don't know.
What do you think about like the ideals for a prosperous society? If you wanted to make society prosper.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to what is the definition of prosperity? Everybody has a different definition of that. So that's what. So when I know we do talk about a lot about how this country was formed as a Christian nation, but we also do have to understand that we do need to push people to Christianity, but at the same time that this country was founded on individual freedoms of their own religion and speech and their gun rights. So that's a very extremely touchy subject. It's a different definition of what they think prosperity or freedom is, right? And we're in a constant battle on that from the communists, because they don't understand, what, they'll like the communist agenda right now is the transgender movement, and they'll say, oh, that's freedom. But at the same time, it's almost like, well, this is a demonic force that's fighting against, coupled with communism, that is wanting to depopulate the population. So I don't know, man. It's a very complex subject onto what prosperity is.
If you wanted a society that was able to have nuclear families, because statistically we know that nuclear families are the best way to raise kids, right? Having a mom and dad who are related to the child, not just a mom, like step parents, in particular stepdads are reported to be abusive more than almost anybody else. So
okay,
it'll say biological mother, father, and child is the best way to raise kids. And I believe that is the best way to inspire a prosperous nation, because everything, whether it be schooling, whether it be sports, whether it be drive to do good in this world, it stems from how you were raised at home.
Yes.
For the most part, like for the overwhelming most part, right? There are exceptions to everything. I hate having to explain it like this, but there of course there are exceptions to everything. But the best way to do it is to have the nuclear family. So, as far as like weed and alcohol, right? I think that it's probably good to have it available, but not good to maybe have it culturally acceptable as like a daily thing, right?
I missed that last part.
It's good to have it available, but not socially acceptable as like a daily vice. Like when people are going too far, when people drink alcohol every single day, that's an issue, and it should be addressed by family and friends. Or if people are smoking weed every morning, afternoon, and night, that should be addressed by friends, and you should be able to, through nuclear family and through friends, be able to wean that back and rely more on the reality of life as opposed to escaping it via these various vices.
Okay, but let me ask you then: who makes that decision? The government should not get involved in any of this.
Well, yeah, but it's our culture that has to
No,
make that
no,
decision.
not at all, dude. The government cannot infringe on any of my rights, my individual choices at all.
No. I mean our culture, not. Well, dude, the government stomps on everybody's rights right now. Like
Exactly. No, I understand that completely, but I would not want the government to push like, okay, the only religion you can practice in here is Christianity, right? And the only family you can have in the United States is a nuclear family, because we're looking at statistics, and if you cannot own a child, you cannot get divorced, you cannot, do you understand what I'm getting at? You cannot go extreme on that level. You have to make it to the individual person and the individual situation. So I do understand your point. Like, I do understand, like, the nuclear family, statistically speaking, is the way to go. But you have to be careful when you push the other extreme, because you have the left extreme, then you have the right extreme, right? And I'm more of like a centrist. Like, I'm a Christian, right? But I'm not going to. I guess I'm more. I don't even know how to explain this. Look, this fucker, Affliction. Go fuck yourself, bro. I ain't about that, dude. I get so much hate online. Is this dude a real veteran? Go fucking pound sand, dude. Anyways, I'm gonna go find him. I'm gonna block that piece of shit. I ain't got time for that, dude.
So I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I saved a post from Ash a while back, and I'm glad you're here because I wanted to talk to you about this. But she said, if you've been following, you know about my quest to learn about Jesus. We realized we didn't have a Bible, and today it arrived. Thankfully, it did not spontaneously combust when I touched it. So we've got that going for us.
Funny.
Where should we start? I think we are going to read a section every evening. We get up at 4:45, and the morning is already rushed. I know that the Jesus part is in the second half. It's going to take a long time to read the whole book, so what is a good starting point? Thank you for all the support. It's weird talking about real life on here, not just being completely obnoxious. Love you, my boomers. She's talking to you, Steve, right there.
Yeah, I know, right? I guess I'm my favorite boomer. I don't know. I'll take it. I'll take it. Even though I'm 41.
I know. I'm 34. I'm not too far behind you.
Yeah, you're a pre-boomer.
So this came up a lot after Charlie passed away, and a lot of people were inspired to buy a Bible for the first time. And Debbie, thank you for joining in. You can we can see you tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in for what you can. But this topic came up quite a bit, and I've in a way have struggled with this in figuring out, what's the best way to grow your faith or your relationship with Jesus, because that is probably the most important thing that you can do with your entire life. And you kind of look at your own life, and you know that you've sinned, and you know that you're like, there are times where I look at my life and struggle and feel like I'm not good enough to talk to Jesus yet. I'm not who I want to be, because I know that I've lied. I know that I've cheated. I know that I'm lazy at times. And there are so many things where I really, really struggle. And when I sit down to pray, I sometimes will avoid praying because I feel like I'm not where I should be just yet.
Why?
Well,
because the veil was ripped off of Solomon's temple to give you a personal relationship with Jesus, and in those times that he wants you to talk to him the most.
And I've gotten a lot better at that. But I'll tell you what, I heard an analogy a little while back, and I absolutely loved it, and it felt right. And so I saved this post from Ash because I wanted to relay this, and hopefully it could help her, and as it helped me. But with not being a perfect person, right? With falling short, falling into vices.
No one is. That's correct.
it feels like, how am I supposed to be that person in order to talk to Jesus? How am I ever going to make it there one day? But the Bible will tell you that Jesus came to you as you were. So imagine trying to become a better person, like taking a shower to get clean, right? Like if your soul, like the best analogy I can use, like every day I come home, I'm completely filthy. Right. So imagine if the shower was how I get clean, how I cleanse my soul. And instead of me trying to figure out how to get clean before I take a shower, the shower is actually the way. And so Jesus in this analogy would be the shower itself. Like in order to get clean, in order to cleanse your soul, you have to be willing to come to Jesus, and then that will help cleanse your soul in the process. You're supposed to go to him as you are, not in this ideal that you have in your mind, because he knows that you're fallen. But the most important thing is having that relationship. So instead of me trying to scrub all the dirt off my hands before I get into the shower itself is what's actually going to make me clean. And so if I give my soul to Jesus, then that's what's going to help me cleanse my soul and become a better person, as opposed to trying to be that way before I even talk to him.
Yeah, dude. Yes, but that's the wrong way of thinking. Honestly, the shower, bro. The shower is and the shower is the euphemism. Jesus doesn't care.
Well, that's Jesus though. Jesus is the shower.
Okay, to soul. Go to the shower, bro. You don't have to be clean to go in a shower. You don't have to be dirty. You don't have to be naked. You could be fully clothed. All he wants you to do is go to the shower. At the end of the day, it does not matter, bro. You could be a drug head on the street, like homeless. You can be the richest person on the planet. Go to the shower every single day. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are, dude. He doesn't judge you. He doesn't judge what you're wearing. He doesn't judge how dirty or clean you are. He just wants you the present. Ash said, what if clean is being scary?
Being clean is scary. It's scary to know. Well,
so are we using like the dirty and the clean as an additional euphemism? Like, well, actually,
it's like
no,
for
that was your
soul,
point.
Right?
That was your point.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Like that's on you if you're clean or dirty. The shower doesn't change. It's up to you to make that personal choice to go there.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, like my point was that there were a lot of people nervous about starting because reading the Bible is overwhelming, and knowing all of your own faults is also overwhelming when you start to read the Bible and you start to think, oh my gosh, what is Jesus going to think? Like, if I had to talk to Jesus right now and explain all of my wrongdoings, like, that would suck. And like, why haven't I been doing
because
more? Well,
that's you.
I liked video games sometimes.
That's the you problem, though, bro. Like, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that, like, I just wanted to help, anybody who is trying to get to the Bible, because I mean, after Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there were so many people who were like, you know what, I haven't read the Bible in 20 years, or I haven't owned a Bible as an adult, so maybe I should crack this thing open. And I've seen a lot of people at the same time be very, very nervous about it, and I understand that nervousness because I still struggle with that to this day. Where I know that I'm not perfect, I know that
no one's perfect, dude.
Like
nobody.
Like but it is tough. It is tough to overcome that and then talk to Jesus, and as if because there are so many times where I'll feel like I'm not good enough to talk to Jesus, but I know that I have to. So that analogy with the in order to get clean, you must take a shower. So that's talking.
Here's
to Jesus.
The problem,
so
Maurice.
All of my imperfections,
dude. Jesus was a carpenter, bro. He is like a tire changer, right? you talk to him how you want to talk to him. You don't have to say like I don't know, your majesty, or like, oh, he wants you to just talk to him however you see fit. So that's why there's a lot of differences between Christianity. Like, I prefer non-denominational because they do believe on the I guess the immediate pathway to Christ, right? But then you have other religions, and I'm not knocking on anyone else, right? I'm just discussing it. Like Catholicism, you have to speak to a priest or some sort of other, for lack of better terms, almost a demigod, someone that's anointed to get to Christ, right? And I don't believe in that. I personally believe like we were all put on this planet for specific purposes, divinely and individually. So why shouldn't we have the same return to our Maker, right?
Well, Christ did say that the way that he's the truth, the light, and the way that you're able to get into heaven is through him. And it's not through a physical church. It's not through a priest or anybody like that. You can find some great wisdom at times, but also that's the best. That's the first thing that the devil would try to subvert is through the churches. Like when we look out into the country right now, actually around the world, a lot of the Christian churches are adopting the rainbow flag, which is one of the most frustrating things in the entire world, because in Christianity, the rainbow is God's promise to never to flood the earth again. But this 6-colored gay rainbow flag is it's 6 colors. It is a literal subversion of God's promise, and any church adopting that, stay far away from. They are fake.
No, I agree with that.
And dude, I've had such a difficult time with churches themselves, and so I've tried to make my home the church. I've tried to make my own personal relationship with Jesus Christ the church in order to further my relationship, because it seems that just like looking out into the world, like I remember going. Okay, this is gonna be like a wild. It's not gonna seem related at all, but it really is. Okay,
you sure?
Yeah.
Because so let me just say how I live my life, right? So I encourage people to go to Christianity, right? And these churches that have the LGBTQ, LMNOP, whatever flags they are in the church, in my opinion, it's demonic in nature. But also, I am not a person without sin, and I cannot cast that first stone. So I am not going to judge those people because it is not my right. But it's that fine line, right? It's that gray area where are you judging them as a person because you do not have the authority to judge, versus spreading Christianity and holding people accountable to the word. So it to me, I don't know how to approach that, I guess, because in one ways people can deem that as you're casting the first stone and you're judging those people. And you're manipulating his word and what the Bible states into your favor for an agenda, which is just what they're doing as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why, like, when it comes to these other religions, like the Israel and Palestine war and all that stuff going on, and man, that's why I'm not like a huge, like, I don't go out of my way to say I'm Christian, because it is just such a complex topic that I don't even know how to put it into words. It's so complex. I'm just trying to think of the right words so I don't come off as like pompous or something like that. But I just feel like it's not my place, right? Because they can do what they want, no matter, like, so these communists, you're not going to change them, right? You can only change the future, or the people that are willing to be changed. So those people that are attending these churches, you're never going to change them, dude, because they are so stuck in their way. I mean, you can try, but I mean, I don't think anything's going to change with those types of people. I think they're lost.
Yeah, and I've tried to figure out, the line between my responsibility for helping others and also preserving and saving my soul and the souls of others around me. But Jesus talked to everybody. So one of the things that I try to do is be open and willing to hear people that I am just so differently aligned from, but be able to talk. Like, one of the main things I've worked on over these past couple of years is being able to talk to a leftist, although now no leftist wants anything to do with me or speak to me, apart from my close family and friends who actually don't talk politics or morality with me at all. They're literally like, they don't want to talk about it, and they refuse. Like, if religion ever comes up or if politics ever come up, they will quickly change the subject because they just want to avoid speaking to me, even though, like, I feel like I do it in a very compassionate way. Like, I'm not overtly rude. Like, I had Smokestack on the podcast last week, right? And it was kind of a in the moment thing, and I brought him up and I started talking to him, and it was apparent to me that a lot of the information that he was saying, there was so much information he was missing in order to really
to make a wise judgment call.
Well, like, if I were to contend his point, I would have to explain like 6 different things before that, right? Like, okay, well, this is why I believe this, because this, and this happened before, and that's why what you're saying is wrong. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's why a lot of my family actually avoids speaking to me, but about those, the leftist part of my family. Like, I will have really long, in-depth conversations with family who are open to it, but for the most part, the lefties, they're just
pretty closed off onto their viewpoints.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? They're supposed to be the open-minded ones.
No, it's very true, and they're very closed-minded now, and that's why, like, so I think the most important thing would be to discuss the future and Gen Z and also the nuclear family, because I don't think we can change the present. We can only change the future. And that's why Charlie Kirk was such a weapon for Christianity and conservatism, because he was willing to go onto their turf, and ultimately he became a martyr because of it, right? So,
yeah. So, Fixin, I can take this one if you don't want to, Steve, or you can say your piece first. But he says, why does politics have to relate to religion? It's not the same.
Well, it kind of is. I think I'm more middle of the road than you are, Maurice. I'm more centrist on this topic. I do believe on a separation of church and state, because if there is any influence in a government from a religion, I know we were based as a Christian nation, but at the same time, we have a very complex constitution and Bill of Rights with freedom of religion. If we nail it down to one religion, then we're not ultimately giving everybody the freedom to practice what religion they want.
You're right, and you bring up the separation of church and state in the way it was originally written, which the Supreme Court in 1964 used this quote, the separation of church and state, from an out of context letter written by Thomas Jefferson to his friend, who it wasn't even a governmental letter. It was a literal personal letter where he was talking about the separation of church and state, that the federal government should not infringe on the rights of the people to practice their religion. So he was trying to protect religion from the infringement from the government, and now it's being used as to protect government from religion, which is completely backwards on how it was originally meant, because I believe that the government is supposed to be by the people, of the people, for the people. And if the people are driven by a morality that is guided by Christianity, that is when your morals are aligned with Christian values, and you get into government with that idea in mind, with that guidance of morality, then you will inevitably be better than if you have an unspecified God and your highest ideal is ever changing. Like, that's the problem that I see. That's another one of the problems that I see with this idea that people aren't religious. Every single person in our government right now is inherently religious. If you believe in good and evil, then you are a religious person. If you don't believe in Christianity, or if you don't believe in Hinduism or Judaism, whatever, if you have an unspecified religion, it doesn't mean that your actions, your thoughts, your drive is not still inherently religious, because you have a high, like, if you believe in good and evil, you have a highest ideal and the evil. You have an idea of what the best good is, your highest ideal and your worst of the worst.
Yeah.
In Christianity, that's Jesus and that's Satan. And that everybody in government has that. All right? But they don't have a specified God. Like, their highest ideal may be the drive for money. Okay? Their actions are still religious. They're still worshiping money in a way. There's no separation of church and state. It is completely irrelevant in my mind.
No, there isn't a separation of church and state, because our state is controlled by Christianity, Judaism, Islam. They're all infiltrating our government right now. So no, there isn't one. So it's either time to make it nothing or make it a Christian nation. But, like, at the same time, like, it's a double-edged sword, because whose rights are you going to infringe on? If we make this a Christian nation, there are a lot of good people. I talk a lot about the Jeets and Asians, and, like, I don't hate them, right? And I don't hate their religion, because I can't hate on a people, right? But, like, if we make it a Christian nation, then we're infringing on the rights of other people within our nation.
Hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean by making it a Christian nation?
No, so we declare.
I think that may be the difference between, like, what you see as a Christian nation and what I see as a Christian nation. So make your distinction.
Like an actual declaration. Like, okay, so, like, if President Trump, like, he made the, like, in was a ceremonial executive order where it was like, there's one, the English language is the official language of the United States. Like, if he came out and said Christianity is the official or religion of the United States, to me, like, okay, so speaking English is a requirement, okay, because that's something completely different than someone's religion.
We speak American.
Okay, touche. So maybe if he did that, okay, I would. That's fine. But anyways, I don't know. This is such a touchy subject.
You're talking about a declaration from the top down. What I say when I say that.
Are you talking about, like,
Lord?
No, you're good. So you're saying make it a Christian nation in, like, in spirit, I guess, for lack of better terms. Like, we are a Christian nation, but we aren't.
I think that the overwhelming majority of our representation that we elect into office should be following Christian values and should believe in Jesus Christ, and they should be following Christ. So when I say that I want America to return to being a Christian nation, I don't mean from the top down, because I don't believe that's how positive change is made. I believe that if we are to raise our children with Christian values, to go to church, and I would hope that they would grow up to be representatives that would espouse biblical values, that would honor the word of Christ, they would follow the word of Christ, and they would do their best to represent to be a representative in our government with those values in mind. Because what we've experienced is it's the second time I've gotten a call from somebody else. Okay. Sorry, I keep getting a call from these people, and I don't want to answer them. Where was I at? I lost my train of thought. What we've experienced in this country is people deliberately trying to separate themselves from religion. Jesus was Christ. I mean, that's he.
Was he? You sure he wasn't Jewish? We can talk about Azakanis and Canaanites because there's been manipulation over that for a long time. But that is ooh man, we're already 55 minutes in. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it might not be best for right now.
Are you getting work call?
I'm just not even going to worry about it right now.
Because it's throwing you off right now. It's okay.
Yeah,
because
it is. It is. I'm sorry.
This is a very complex topic that we can talk about a lot of different perspectives. Because when I served in the military, I fought for the right for everybody to have their own pursuit of happiness, regardless of religion. All right. But then take that part, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Bill of Rights, like fundamentally speaking, constitutionally speaking, that's what I fought for. Right. But then on another like spiritual notion, I will fight for, Christianity over any other religion. So it's very complex when you come to how you approach things like that. Because everybody has their past experiences would push them to make their own fight for their own purpose. So I don't, personally speaking, I think, yes, we do need like, morality and things like that and some sort of religion. But at the same time, people just need to be good people.
Well, okay, but that's, you can. So, okay, hold on. That's okay. I think that's a big problem with what we've been experiencing. And I think a big mistake that Gen X made raising millennials is the fact that they assumed that the default for people was good. I think that good is incredibly subjective. Like, we have a basic understanding of like, not hurting people.
Being black and stabbing a white woman in a train in Charlotte and saying, "I got the white bitch." Like, that is not good. Or going out and raping people or committing crimes. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now.
I think without passing on, like, okay, Gen X, in my opinion, because I wasn't raised a Christian. Okay, I was not raised Christian at all. I was raised spiritually, that there is a God that created us and that we have individual rights. Like, that idea was transmitted to me, and then I found Christianity and found that to be the closest thing to the truth as I can come to. Right? But without the idea of God being passed on, without the idea that we were created in God's image, or that we were created with all having a divine spark. Like, throughout human history, you look back and the presumption of innocence is not a universal. So a lot of these traditions and ideals, this morality, I think that Gen X and boomers in a lot of ways failed to pass those on, and they assumed that it would just happen, that people would just follow that. Right. And so, but the kids,
like it would just fall into place.
Yeah. But it never did, because So even with the conversation I had, I hate to bring this up again, but with Smokestack. Okay. So he was raised in a Christian household, but then what he was espousing as far as like how we should be teaching the new generation, right? The new generation, he's like, oh, you can do whatever you want, have sex with whoever you want, promiscuity isn't bad, abortion's not bad, like all this stuff, where all of a sudden, once you get past the failing of passing on that tradition or the moral values or passing on Christianity or the drive to be a better Christian, then all of a sudden you get parents who are raising kids, and those traditions are now completely lost, and they find different values. That's why we have so many people who follow this woke ideology as a sort of religion, that the America was bad because it was created by white men for white men who owned slaves, who were complete hypocrites. Like, the tradition was failed to be passed on.
So what essentially what you're saying is, like, not following the Bible and watering down the teachings of it is kind of like essentially it got us to where we are, because we've kind of, so when you water down something, it kind of spreads apart in the moralities and the thoughts or the ideas behind it. But you pull it back to the Ten Commandments. I think, man, I can't remember her name. She was stating like the Ten Commandments, that's like your foundation. But if you just like say it's like the Ten Commandments and you're just putting a bunch of water on it and it just spreads out, then it gets lost in translation.
Yes.
It like loses its.
Yes. So I have a perfect analogy for this. Is if you have, let's say that our morality was like peaked in the 1900s. I'm not saying it's true, but I'm just saying that, like, you know, when 90% of the country was Christian, let's say that that's the original sheet of paper. Okay. If you put that paper through a copy machine and you discard the original.
Okay.
And then you take that copied piece of paper and you put it through the copy machine again.
Right.
You discard the original, take the copied. You put it through the copy again. Okay? So with failing to pass on the traditions in the same way, or with the same fervent nature that you know, people used to do, with, you know, without grandmas being there to fucking kick your ass, you know, just
right.
You get a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and eventually the ink is so faded that it's barely even there. And that's kind of how I feel like we're experiencing what we're experiencing right now. Is like there's a relic of Christianity, of morality that people assume are like the foundation of our country is presumption of innocence, all right, which is virtually gone, because now mob rule, or like the idea of the presumption of innocence, is completely gone. I mean, you can look at it in Charlie Kirk's death. You see how many people were like, he was justified because he was a Nazi. They see one tweet of you and they assume you to be a Nazi. I mean, that presumption of innocence is virtually gone. So the copy of the copy of the copy of the copy of the copy that we have for running our morality, it almost has to be completely rewritten. And I hope and I pray to God that it is rewritten with Christian values inspiring it. Because if it's rewritten by these wokesters, or by these people who don't believe in God and who don't really believe in the founding of this country because they believe it was wrong, and they have this idea that Marxism is a good idea, then if it gets rewritten by them, we're screwed. And we're going to have to restart again completely.
Okay, well, but how do you do that without infringing on everybody else?
It has to be done by parents. Like Ash said in the beginning of the show, it starts with the nuclear family. It literally has, like, we have to be able to break away from a lot of this crap that has been shoved down our throats, because our morality and our government right now, like the Constitution right now, it seems like the ink is completely almost faded. We have 25 copies, and we're down to, almost nothing. Like, we just assume that the Constitution is what's guiding our government and what's hindering it from being tyrannical, but it's not. The only thing stopping the government from being tyrannical is us. That's the only way that we stop the government from being tyrannical. The Constitution is there, but they trample over it all the time. And if our people are not driven by a strong moral ethic, guided by something that where the ideal is higher than our wants and our needs at the time, if it is not guided by that, then we will collapse, or we will fall into tyranny. We will allow the government to tread over every single one of our rights, like they have been, basically. But it'll get far worse, because hell is a long way down, and Americans don't know hell as much as they can.
I'm just going to say I think it's a little bit more complex than just that. Because, man, there's so much I think we can further expound on that, because I do believe that religion and the nuclear family is the answer, but it is way more deep than that, in my opinion. I think because you're going to have good people do bad things to make this country the way it should be. Because our Constitution, bro, it there's nothing left to it. it's there. How many laws do we have total? I don't even know. It's probably tens of thousands. And for what?
Yeah. Well, this is why I would like to contend with people like Nick Fuentes, right? And I think I commented on Nick Fuentes the other day because he was talking. Well, okay, I don't need to go down that entire rabbit hole, but his idea,
we're over an hour already.
Like what he's selling is that white people created the best societies that we know of, and so we need to get back to white people, right? Like that's the main idea he's selling.
Okay.
And I believe that Nick Fuentes is a smart person. I think that he is actually a well-educated person on history and on many things concerning the Jews, right? Mm-hmm. But in reality, how he sells his prescription, I think that it's completely wrong. Even if his facts are completely right on who's responsible for the downfall and who's actually poisoning our society, even if that was completely correct, his prescription is wrong because he is selling identity politics. He's selling this idea that whiteness is the cure. And a lot of people will take that because there has been an anti-white movement in this country for well over a decade now. There's been a lot of anti-white propaganda. There's been a lot of white guilt. There's been a lot of people really feeling the anti-whiteness. And Nick is able to actually sell it in a way that is convincing enough to a lot of people that whiteness is going to be the way to fix this. But like the founding fathers, the majority of them, like they were white men, right? But they strove for something greater than just whiteness. They strove to be a country based on individual rights. And if we don't get, like, if we allow people like Nick Fuentes to succeed, if we allow his ideas to win out, I'm not saying that you do, but there are a lot, like he is significantly more popular than I am. And I see a lot of people that follow him. I actually have a lot of people that follow me that follow him and know his ideas. But the thing is that like
it's human nature, brother. Like extremist on one side will create an extremist on the other side as well. It's kind of it balances things out. So I'm just gonna say, like, so you have these left-wing extremists that will create people like Nick Fuentes and his followers, the Groypers. And that's why I stay central to all of that stuff, bro. I don't know.
See, but I'm not central. Like I don't believe in I don't believe that I'm a centrist. I believe that my ideas are better than his. Legitimately. I think that that if I were to sit down with Nick Fuentes, that he wouldn't be able to refute what like my contention of his arguments. Because he does make some good points that like a lot of people don't want to live around black people. And if you look statistically at like people like redlining, right? The idea of redlining where a black couple moves into a neighborhood and then everybody assumes the property value is going to go down, so they want to leave, right? Like he uses ideas like that to make or events like I can't remember his name right now. The high schooler in Texas who was stabbed. Austin, was his name Austin? I can't remember his name.
I'm not sure.
He was just stabbed recently by Carmelo Anthony, I think his name was.
Austin Metcalf.
Austin Metcalf, yes. So he will use ideas like that to convince people that blacks are inherently, violent or inherently a certain way. And in a particular way, there's a certain truth to that because black Americans have adopted this culture that is fairly homogenous, that has been destructive to their own communities in a lot of ways. They've adopted a culture that is self-destructive, but it's also a personal choice. I mean, the father rate is like 70% of black Americans are raised in a fatherless home, which is absolutely horrible. But he's able to use that and sell it as, look at this problem and it's because they're black, but it's not because they're black. It's because their culture fell into that. The founding fathers created the best opportunity for us to be the best nation in the entire world, in the entire history, and we've kind of thrown that away in a lot of ways because we have left the idea that of individual rights, and we've reverted back to identity politics in a lot of ways.
No, I agree, and I feel that's what our nation has become. It's become just a clash of identity politics between all religions, all sexual orientations, and it's very tiresome, especially when people want to push one agenda with the nuclear family or Christianity, and it right now I think it's just a pinball machine, and it's just a fight that's going on right now, and I just don't see it ending anytime soon. Maybe we just need to go back to the Old Testament.
No, that's Judaism, bro.
well, at least we'll clean out some of the heretics around here. Anyways, no, absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of harsh prescriptions in the Old Testament.
No, I know, man, and that's what I'm stating is there is a reason why the veil in Solomon's temple was ripped open for everyone to have the opportunity to go to Christ himself. You don't have to go through anybody. You can be whoever you are, whatever walk of life. As long as you acknowledge that and acknowledge that Christ is your Savior, you have the direct opportunity to go. And I'll just leave it there.
Yeah, most stereotypes are true on average, but not absolutes. Yes, and in a lot of ways, that's my point here, is that if you strive for a higher ideal, you can actually break away from those stereotypes. Like, for example, I'm not a res Indian, right? I don't fall into the generic category of a Native American because I was raised outside of the reservation, and I strove to be a better American. Like, I saw the ideals. I read about the ideals from the founding fathers and from many people past that, from Frederick Douglass to Cassius Clay to many other great men of the past in this country who have strove to rid the human race, at least in our country, from the prejudices that have stopped us from recognizing individual rights and not being ran by a tyrannical government or a monarchy. And so that's what a lot of my ideals are set to follow that, separate from my Christian values. But I really believe that the foundation of this country had really, really good roots, and that we've strayed away from that quite a bit. And if we allow people like the Nick Fuenteses of the world to reign supreme in the public discourse, then I think we'll just revert back to it, and we'll have to relearn everything again, which sucks.
Fair point.
So, you guys, I know that we've gone a little bit longer. Steve, I did enjoy this conversation. You guys, thank you for I guess listening and participating in the chat. I know I was taking a peek at the chat a lot. There's a lot of people who are
got a lot of haters, but I'm used to that.
A couple haters here and there. But, that's all right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Monday. I guess what is that, November 3rd? So, we should try and, or no, that's way far away. It's only the 22nd.
Oh, the 27th.
Yeah, 27th. Oh, my God. Yeah, we're not taking next week off. Don't worry, you guys. The 27th, we'll be back Monday. Steve, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Not really, man. I think we covered a lot of different topics. I thought we were supposed to go over stereotypes today, but that's okay. Things happen.
Kind of got.
We're supposed to drop hard R's. Well, okay, I'll say cracker. There we go.
Cracker.
Yeah,
Steve,
hard
you're
R.
being so much of a cracker.
I'm that cracker type. But anyways, man. Guys, thanks for tuning in. With 6,700 viewers right now. Oh, happy birthday, Denise.
I know
awesome.
her. Met her. I met her a couple years ago. She, I went into a store and we started talking, and she actually wrote a book recently. So, but yeah, Denise is awesome. So, I'll make a post.
I would follow her, but I don't have a YouTube, so
she's on X.
She's on X. Okay. Well, follow me or send me a DM. I'll follow you back.
All right, you guys. God bless. I guess one of the main points that I wanted to get across tonight was that you can talk to Jesus as you are, and you don't need to be ashamed of the sins of the past. We live in a fallen world, and we are imperfect beings. But the way to cleanse your soul and to get to heaven is through Jesus. So don't be afraid to come to him as you are. So if you want to start reading the Bible, start anywhere. You can start at the beginning, but you can also start. You just open it up, start reading. And that's the best way to start, is to just do it. Doesn't matter where, just do it. So natives don't need Jesus. The official religion of my tribe is Christianity. So whatever. But
you
tribe
need
of
Jesus.
patriots.
Well, I'm just kidding.
God bless you guys. God bless America. We will see you on Monday. Take care. It'll be Denise's birthday on Monday, so be sure to wish her a happy birthday. Take care, you guys. God bless.
Dusty plains and broken dreams. Cowboys and Indians on the same team. We got no masters, only our creed to break the chains and set